we're a couple months away from the premiere of Dune 2, and I'm actually really excited about this movie. I really want to see it on the IMAX screen because I think this really lends itself to that format. And a little backstory, I never saw the first one in theaters because I wasn't super familiar with the franchise or the property. I never read the books, I never saw the other movie, so I had no expectations for this, and I was kind of taking a word of mouth approach about it, and I heard it was pretty good, so then I checked it out when it came to HBO Max and thought it was fantastic, and it makes me really excited to see this new one. And I think we're going to see more of that too, because while it was successful, the first one, it didn't really bring in the huge numbers, but I think there's going to be more people like myself who didn't watch the first one in theaters but are more inclined to do it now, especially since there's been a long slate of stuff that has been kind of mediocre at best and outright abysmal at worst, which that's good news for Dune, of course, but it's also bad news for the Marvels, because the Marvels is now going to lose out on all the IMAX screens to Dune 2. Now, it's possible that Dune will be pushed back until 2024 because it has been said that they're talking about doing that because of the strikes that are going on right now. But you got to understand that there's been a lot of publicity that's been geared towards Dune, actually, for both these movies in the near past, and it's been going on since the strikes have actually started to. So it's unlikely that they would start these publicity pushes before their premieres of their movies, just to kind of go backtrack and delay their movies even further. And especially with Dune, the case of that, because it has about 5 to 6 weeks in the IMAX theaters without any real competition actually competing against it. So if they push it back to 2024, then that's probably not going to happen, and won't have like that long slate of time where they don't really have any competition to compete with. So if they do push it back and the Marvel stays for its regular release date in November, then they'll take over the IMAX screens, but I doubt that's going to happen. So it's looking like they're going to get second fiddle to what's Dune and kind of competing against that. Even though Dune is coming out first, the Marvels does have stiff competition with that movie, and also Dune has the premiere screens, which is kind of a draw for theaters right now, because especially with the Marvel properties, a lot of people don't actually come up to see them in theaters because there's really nothing to see about them in the theaters. I mean, the only thing you would have as a draw is having those premium screens to watch them on, and now they're not even getting that. So they would have to kind of rely on people just wanting to see this movie already, which I think is pretty low expectations. I mean, the first Captain Marvel movie, which is kind of like the prequel to this one. I mean, sort of, not really, since this is a different type of movie. But anyway, Captain Marvel did pretty well in its first, when it was first in theaters, but it was also sandwiched between Infinity War and Endgame, and those movies were the biggest Marvel movies to date. So people thought Captain Marvel was kind of like required viewing to go into Endgame, and we're not really getting that same type of hype with this, because look at what it's following right now. Secret Invasion, which just ended, which has terrible audience and critic scores, with the final episode of Secret Invasion being the worst rated MCU property on Disney Plus. Actually, it's just the worst rated MCU property already. Last I checked, it was at 8% audience score. Let me just scroll down to see view details. Scroll down. Yeah, final episode, home. Oh, wow, 7%. So yeah, this is even worse than when I last checked it. So yeah, this is the worst rated one. And then you also have the two of the main characters for the Marvels being Nick Fury and Miss Marvel, and you got, those are the two worst rated MCU shows on Disney Plus platform. So it's really not looking good for the Marvels right now, which is just a huge blow to them, especially for Disney as a whole, because they've just been suffering a long list of box office bombs at the theaters. I mean, it's not looking good for the Marvels. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is doing terrible and probably going to be the biggest bomb for Disney's history, if not the biggest movie bomb of all time. So yeah, things aren't looking too good for them right now, but everything's all sunny for Dune right now. So let me know what you think about all this in the comments. Are you actually looking forward to seeing Dune, or are you going to see the Marvels? Maybe they do a double feature when both of them are out in theaters. Who knows? Kind of, I don't know if there's a Barbenheimer name for this. The Dunes, the Mar Dunes, or I don't know. I'll figure something out later. But just make sure you subscribe to the channel to keep up to date with everything that's going on, and like the video if you do like what you see here. And I'll see you later.